There is really three worlds that this show takes place in. We have the world of the past, which is actually our present, 2020 and 2021. We have the world of the play's present, which is 20 years in our future, which is the television interviews. And then we have this world out of time, this liminal space that the characters inhabit and move through between and during and within the scenes. So those three worlds are still going to be present in the Zoom production. In the stage production, they might have been more lighting driven, but in the Zoom production, while they're still there, they're going to be a little more based on the backgrounds that you see behind them and how they interact with the camera, as well as a little bit of lighting work. But the lighting has to be a little more consistent in the Zoom production because we're using green screens, so we can't do quite as much fancy world work as I was thinking of it to help establish those worlds in the Zoom version. Yeah, so the role of lighting in Zoom is actually really interesting because it takes you back a little bit to the basic fundamentals of lighting design. Because the first job that a lighting designer has in any show is to make sure that the actors can be seen. And on Zoom, that is a whole heck of a lot more challenging than in a theater. In a theater, you can turn on one light and voila, you can see just about everything that that light covers. Whereas in Zoom, if I have one light on over here and one light on over here, it might not matter if the curtains behind me, say, were open, because you couldn't see me because there would be a bunch of sunlight coming through and I would be all washed out and the camera wouldn't be picking up a human figure at all. So it really makes a lighting designer learn their craft and realize how and help you understand how those basics of lighting design can be applied, especially in this production because we are using green screens. So we have to not only be able to light the person distinctly from the green screen in a very, very tight space, but we also have to then be able to hopefully take that figure and light it in a way that tells the story and is not just illuminating them for the sake of illumination. Another thing that lighting kind of gets involved with on Zoom that you wouldn't think of is camera work. So in a theater, I, as a lighting designer, would never think of, okay, so what's the camera recording? Because if we're recording anything, it's just archival footage. But here on Zoom, the camera is the main medium through which the actors and the audience interact. So that clarity has to be there, and I have to understand exactly what the camera is picking up and why it is picking that up, and adjust the lighting to make it so that the camera is seeing everything properly, even if that means that if I were watching this in person, I would think, oh my God, it's disgustingly bright. So that adds another layer of complication, but also kind of fun to it because it's giving me a chance to learn some new programs and learn some new skills about lighting for film and doing this virtually that I never would have been able to. So the difference in collaborative dialogue has really only been present insofar as the style of collaboration is slightly different. In the theater, the scenic designer designs the set, and as lighting designer, I hope that they take my input as to, hey, this angle of this wall makes it really difficult to get light through there, or you have this giant window, can we move it over slightly so that I can shine light through it onto the actors in a really gorgeous way. Whereas here on Zoom, the dialogue is a lot more, okay, we are in a park, so the background says park. Is there any way that the lighting can support that in a way that doesn't compromise their visibility. And a lot of this conversation has revolved around the decision of whether or not we wanted to use green screens to create virtual backgrounds, which we didn't even know for a couple weeks of this virtual planning process. So now, once we found that out, that really changed the dialogue entirely. Because up until then, the scenic team had been more concerned of, okay, we're making sure that everyone has the same black piece of fabric so that we can have something visually similar for all of them. And then the addition of the green screens really brought them back fully into the conversation of, okay, we are setting a picture, we are creating a stage picture. How does the setting play into it? How do we light the actors to highlight that? Can we light the actors in a way that highlights that? Because for me, the green screens, as much as they are an exciting opportunity to learn how to work around, they are also restrictive in terms of some of what the lighting can do. So that has also been an aspect of, great, I completely understand the instinct to want green screens and to be able to want to change the background to match where the scene is supposed to take place within the play. But that does limit our options a little bit. And that means that so much more of the lighting gear that we are sending to the actors and that the actors have has to be devoted to lighting that screen. Because if it's not lit, they can't key it out. And then it's just an actor sitting awkwardly in front of a piece of light green fabric, which no one really wants. So collaboratively, the dialogue has continued, and it's been really fruitful, actually. I've been working very closely with Valeria and with David to get us to a place where we can create this world of the BBG on Zoom and on vMix. But it's just been a matter of shifting that dialogue from a more traditional stage setup to, okay, what the heck does this mean on Zoom, and how the heck do these new tools of the camera and the green screen impact what we are able to do and how we do it?